do feel that there is a need for dads groups within the way that this was based. So the Game of Two Halves was a really good programme, solid programme, and it gave dads a vast amount of information in a really healthy, relaxed, informal setting that they were comfortable in. I think if you had more of these and you engaged it the same way as JP organised it, so a bit of information and then go out and play football and really bond together, and I think that would be an excellent opportunity to engage with more fathers.
Think of the pilot programme, the Game of Two Halves.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Obviously I had reservations that on the take-up and the commitment, but I have to say I was really surprised by the way they all took to it and got involved every week. It was, yeah, it was great. And they actually, the way they spoke about things after the sessions outside, how you did them talking about it.
The key part of the session was when, you know, I brought a child health record book, which is called the Red Book, known to everyone, and I was going through it with the fathers, and they were saying, "Oh, I didn't know that was in there, and they were so surprised the amount of information they could get from the Red Book. They actually said, most of them said, "Oh, that's something the missus has." So it's something that they didn't even to look into, and they actually said after this session, they said they're going to go home and have a look in the Red Book. And I thought, you know, that was so, that if I didn't make any other difference, and just that alone, them going home and having a look in the Red Book was so key to.
Have you seen this before? Have you seen this before?
Yeah, I've had 7 kids, so...
Okay, but for your children?
No, I haven't seen my ones.
You haven't seen your ones?
I haven't seen my ones.
Why is
it's so
that?
bad, I just don't know.
You don't know?
But it's in the house.
Yeah, it's in the
Yeah,
house.
that's
It's in the house, but
house.
I just say, come across.
But it's important that you equally know about the Red Book.
Where it is.
So you know, because do you know what it's for?
Yeah, well, the things we just said.
And with the blood types and stuff in there.
And you can see the fathers being able to just go beyond the chit-chat. They talk about their difficult stuff, their vulnerable feelings, and they're feeling anxious about the birth of their child, say. They're feeling conflicted about how much to do about boundaries, whether they are too harsh on the children or too weak, and you could see these fathers really thinking about these things, which is very unusual. And research shows that the more preparation there is before the birth or during the parenting of a child, the child is going to have a better experience of his childhood. The child will have someone to go towards, and if the parents are really able to think together like a team, even if they're not together, that makes a big impact on the child.
Okay. And what did you wanted the health visitor to interact with you?
I wanted to know, like, how am I coping with my child?
Yeah.
I want someone to speak to me about me and my child.
Interaction isn't just
It's not just for the mum. Obviously it's not, but it's like...
I took part in a session with talking about labour, birth, pregnancy, the early days with baby, and about feeding, and it was a really, really fun session. It was really interesting to hear the guys' views and maybe to challenge some of their views that they'd had, and they were really receptive to hearing maybe a different point of view and thinking about how they could put that into practice within their families, with their partners, with their children. It really inspired me to think that we can make a difference, and that was a really nice part of the session.
Can you write those 2 words again, please? The oxy and the rose.
School the wife when I get home.
Casey definitely for one of these.
And a baby.
I'm mixed race, you know. I'm not mixed race. This is not my
And the H is for head frame. So we're not having any hands behind baby's head like this, because it causes restriction on baby to bring the head back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you hold it by
At
the
the
neck?
base of your neck.
Hold it on the base of the neck.
And then you use your forearm to go down baby spine like this. So they're well supported. Eyes were in line.
Is
So
my forearm supposed to be between their legs?
Sorry?
Is my forearm
No, I mean, it kind of depends on the maybe the right handle will be.
What are you spelling?
During the session, I expected them to be quite boisterous, I guess, because, you know, football lads and might not have as much of an interest in breastfeeding as other topics that have come up. Usually breastfeeding is a conversation directed at the mother, so I was really impressed to see that they had like varying opinions and like a strong interest and are really receptive to the information that we provided at the session. And it was really nice to just have them chat amongst themselves. There was a bit of banter, but they were all really respectful to each other.
Basically, time is the most important thing we have. So has this program or has this Thursday night every time been worth your time? And go around the room or just speak on it?
100%, I believe. Like, for example, I know one of the main things that I took from this and that my son enjoyed, I forgot to bring it, but it's the the teeth, brushing the teeth.
Oh,
so,
okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
When I'm there, I don't live with him, but when I'm there, like before he was using that as an excuse to stay up later. Like we'll send him to bed, we need to bed for like 10-15 minutes, and he'll come up. I forgot to brush my teeth.
I do that now.
But now it's just like routine. Normal. Like,
Since that session?
Yeah, because I would forget, before that, I would forget to even tell him to brush his teeth.
Yeah, same.
Do you understand? But since we I was like, okay, brush your teeth. So first but now it's just like, he knows that's part of his routine before he goes to bed. Do you understand? But it took that session to kind of reinforce it, like, yeah.
Very true.
Until I saw the importance of, do you understand? Like, even myself before, like, in the middle of the night, I would drink. Just I got this belly.
Alcohol?
Not alcohol. I would just drink, like, from first I'll drink a can of Coke. Or I'd drink a Superman or something like that. Not knowing that would just stay on your teeth, like, slowly rolling your teeth. Yeah, I've learned a lot. Yeah, it's been worth a while.
You know, there was a real bond between them. And recently, obviously, playing in the FA People's Cup in our regional final, where we put 2 teams in, and both teams got to the final, which is great. So the winners will go on to Wembley in the national finals. But putting the teams together, you know, it was said that one of the boys, young men picking the team, said, well, you know, I'm giving preference to the fathers group. So that was great that, you know, it still carried on and they all turned up for this tournament as the fathers group. There was that bond there, and, you know, I thought that was really nice to see.
I've just made the hierarchy here in the different points I've learned in attending the sessions. So the first thing I can more or less start off with is understanding. So once you've got understanding, it can conquer all negatives, you know. So taking on information. So the information you gain, which you know is beneficial to you, I'll be more than willing to pass on so other people can have the same information I've gained. With the love you receive, and you know how it made you feel when receiving that love, give back. And with knowledge, knowledge is always power. The knowledge I gained in all the lessons definitely made me realise how important it is, and how important certain things I thought I already knew, which I didn't know, made me overthink things. So having the knowledge of what I didn't know before, yeah, definitely a major factor. So just to sum it all up, taking in all information can make you a better person, and with all information gained can make you give 100%. So yeah.